Hello, my name is Father Jim Marchanda. I am a Dominican from the province of St. Albert the Great, and I welcome you to this session titled Know Before You Go, a brief presentation and summary of the upcoming readings for the coming weekend that can be found on our Dominican website from the Central Province. It is called opcentral.org. And if you go to that website, you can click on Know Before You Go and get a little bit of a presentation on the upcoming weekend's readings. This weekend is the celebration of All Saints. November 1st falls on a Sunday this year. So instead of a Sunday in ordinary time, we will get to celebrate this holy day of obligation on the Sunday itself. And the readings for the Feast of All Saints are just beautiful. And I think one of the most beautiful things about the readings is that they are so grand. There's such grandeur when we talk about heavenly things. There's such grandeur when we talk about heavenly hosts and the communion of saints. There is such beauty and such grandeur when we think of the holiness that surrounds God and the throngs of worshiping angels and saints that are constantly praising God. That is what we celebrate this Sunday, and in a sense, that's how the readings start out for this weekend, but then they draw us more closely into the very reality of that grandeur ourselves. When we come to church this weekend, the first reading that we will hear is from the book of Revelation, and we will hear about angels coming and going and rising, ascending and descending, and all around the throne of God. And then we will hear about the throngs, the great multitudes in heaven, people from every nation, from every race, from every people, from every tongue. And all of a sudden it starts to show us that the communion of saints is larger than anything you and I can imagine. It's wonderful. The picture that it paints is so broad. It is so large. It is so all-encompassing, and it includes more than we are capable of imagining. What is great about the gospel that we are going to hear from Matthew, and it's the gospel of the Beatitudes. All of a sudden we have a real reality check with blessed are the poor in spirit, blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness and justice, blessed are those who are mourning. All of a sudden we go from this grandeur in the first reading and the heavenly throngs and the heavenly host, we go from that to a real presentation of reality, real life. And we realize somehow that the church is trying to incorporate the reality of our lives into that very communion of saints. It's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful reality that Jesus says, even if you're suffering, you're still counted among the blessed. Even if you're struggling and being challenged more than you think you can handle, you are still considered and counted among the blessed of all those saints in heaven. So all of a sudden you see that the communion of saints is expanded, not to just be something up there, removed from us, but something that incorporates us and welcomes us in. I also want to say that finally the third reading comes from the first letter of John, and it's so straightforward. And it says to us, "Beloved, see what love the Father has bestowed on us, that we may be called the children of God. Yet so we are." All of a sudden, you see the grandeur of the first reading that gets translated into the reality of the gospel. And then when we get to the first letter of John, we discover that we are part of the program. We are part of the painting. We are part of the picture. We are part of everything, because now, in our time in history, in our walk of life, we are the ones who are children of God. Just as the saints that went before us were the children of God in their time and in their place, so today you and I are the children of God for our time and our place. One of the greatest little teachings I've ever received came from the deceased Bishop Kenneth Untner, who was the Bishop of Saginaw, Michigan. And Bishop Untner said, talking about Mary as the supreme saint in our communion of saints, that everything Mary was, you and I are called to be. I think that that's one of the best lessons I've ever had, and it has shaped my understanding of the communion of saints ever since. Everything that Mary was, everything that Mother Teresa of Calcutta was, everything that St. John the 23rd was, everything that St. John Paul II was, you and I are called to be. I'm so glad that we're celebrating All Saints on a Sunday this weekend, because it gives the whole church a time and an opportunity to realize that the communion of saints includes the whole church. And that means you and me, as well as all the declared saints in heaven. Thank you for being a part of this. I invite you once again to our website, opcentral.org, and to all of the things that are available there, especially Know Before You Go. God bless you all.